Disturb.
Okay, looks like we're live.
Nice.
Okay, hey everybody. Bahzad here, alongside.
Risa.
And we are streaming live here to you on Naked and Famous Denim Day, which is every day, by the way. But most importantly, Friday evenings at 7 p.m. Eastern, live stream.
Is the most naked and famous.
That's it. That's
the
the most possible Naked and Famous Denim day of the year. All right. We're streaming live from Yokohama. My opening banter, I need to get better at that.
Yes, it's also an hour early today.
Yes,
so
this is true. I'm still really waking up. A lot of the West, they had their daylight savings. Mm-hmm. We don't do that here in Japan, so it is 8 a.m. for us instead of the usual 9 a.m., which gives us a little bit more time to wake up and get our minds working, but that's okay. We're going to wake up with you guys because we're here, and that's what we do. It's a gloomy day here in Japan today, in Yokohama. Yeah. It was quite nice leading up until today. A lot of sun, a lot of warm temperatures, but Mother Nature found a way to bring us the rain and bring us the gloomy weather. So
it's always on the weekends.
Yeah, shout outs to you, Mother Nature, for constantly disappointing me. Let's do better, okay? Let's do better. Anyways, let's check in with the chat and see where everybody is checking in from today. We see Daniel's in the house. Hey, Daniel, how's it going? Scott Reynolds writes, so looking forward to receiving the double dirty fade jeans. I have 10 different pairs of your jeans, custom for life, and the only jeans I will ever wear. Well, thank you very much, sir. And hopefully, as you say custom, hopefully you mean custom leather patch. Oh, customer or custom? I'm assuming he actually, since you pointed out, I think he meant customer. Mm-hmm. But you can also customize your jeans with the leather patch of your choice on Tate Yoko. It's a great service that we offer there.
It's a fun little.
Yeah, especially if you have 10 pairs, it might be something nice to do on your double dirty fades. Get a special leather patch on there or something. Johnny Crumhorn is in the house. Good to see you. Jeff Lucini. Hard and soft selvage on. Great choice. Great pick from the Spring-Summer 2023 collection. Brainstar, happy Friday. Welcome. Good to see you. Austin, greetings from Colorado and happy Friday. Well, it is Saturday morning here for us, but happy Friday to everybody out there in Friday land. We're streaming from the future. P.O., hello, welcome. Invis Ian's DC's in the house. The Raven, hello from Southern California. Good evening from London. We got Daniel drinking some chocolate milk in my Naked Famous green milk glass mug. That's a good combination
chocolate
there.
Milk.
Yeah. Chocolate milk, good choice. It's a good choice.
Get my coffee.
You should.
1 second.
Yeah, Reese's got her coffee over there. I want howdy from Portland. Welcome. Corey Sakine. Greetings from Atlanta, Georgia. First time watching live. I usually catch the replay. Well, welcome to the live stream, my friend. It's good to have you here. Ashley O'Connor, hello from Raleigh, North Carolina. Hello, Melody Murray. Good to see you. Hello from Tucson, Arizona. Hopefully it's nice and warm where you are. I bet you it is. Artist, hello, guys. Tuning in from work. May come and go as needed. Hey, I know how it is. Appreciate you checking in. Shane Delahunty, hey, from Vancouver, Washington. Daniel, I'm going to mess that one up, but Vancouver, BC. 2 Vancouvers, 2 different places. Cam X tuning in from Calgary, Alberta. Fading my purple chorus. Great choice. And we've got the Black Buddha, hey, from Brooklyn, New York. Everybody, I appreciate you tuning in from wherever you guys are tuning in from. It's good to see you all here. I'm not going to get everybody, but I appreciate you guys tuning in. Anyhow, what are we going to talk about today? I know I asked the question and I'm going to answer it. But I didn't mean to, because as I asked the question, I remembered one thing that I wanted to talk about today. And I'm not like singling anybody out, but I go through the forums every now and then, and I saw one comment the other day, and it was basically customer. It was a bunch of different customers with the same kind of problem, and one person was talking about how like oh man, should I give up on raw denim? Like I keep getting the wrong size. And they were talking about the size down rule, and as soon as I saw those words, I didn't spring into action right away. I should have probably left a comment. And the rule was size down rule. I'm like, that's not a rule. Don't ever think. And then other people are like, yeah, well, it's not a hard and fast rule. People try to explain it away. I'm like, it's not a rule. Don't ever do this. If you size down, you're gonna have a bad time. Guaranteed. And then I saw the other day, again, it was another person with a pair of jeans, unsanforized this time. And they were like, well, they didn't have my size, so I bought a size down, and I'm hoping that they'll stretch out before I do it. So I'm like, why are you doing any of this? Don't do that.
I mean, that, like, I feel like psychologically, because you put them on, and it's like, oh, this is great, I have some room.
Yeah.
And then, like, that, it's kind of understandable. But there's a reason why most jeans in the world is made of sanforized denim.
Right.
Because it's really not something that you can just, it's going to shrink. Like, everything shrinks a little in the wash. But, like, it's just really out of that, room. So we have to sanforize it. And when we don't...
Yeah.
It's it's going to shrink way more than you think it's going to shrink.
And I have the feeling that somebody felt like, I don't want to pass up on this deal because these unsanforized jeans are, they're on sale or whatever.
Yeah.
And
but
so
then you have to just never wash it again.
Yeah, just get them a little big. Every time, if you're not sure, get them a little big. A belt will not hurt you. And I'm speaking on my own behalf, but odds are you're going to grow more than you're going to shrink, right? We get older, we get bigger. That's what happens, right? So if you're really just sitting on the cusp of jeans fitting, they don't fit. I just feel like, you're one heavy meal away from those jeans not fitting, and don't do that to yourself, right?
It's also really funny how, like, everybody's idea of, like, good size for you is literally, like, right before it's too tight to button up is the part that everybody wants to go in. It's like, that's not really, like, again, like I say this all the time, it's like when you're standing up, when you're sitting down, like your belly, like it's
just pinching you.
Yes. Yeah. It's so different.
Yeah.
That, like, I put it on, I can button it. That doesn't mean it fits you.
Yeah. No, it's a lot. There's a lot of, well, unless it's fitted, it doesn't fit.
Yeah. Yeah. And nobody's going to know what size you're wearing. You don't have to, Jerry Seinfeld this. Like, you don't have to pretend like you're a size smaller.
Right. I do feel like when I was starting to get into fashion, that fitted meant fashion. Right? Maybe that's different today. Maybe it was at the time. But I maybe there's some of that that's, I feel some people getting into raw denim, they're starting to care a little bit more about the clothes that they wear and the outfits that are putting together. And so maybe a little bit of that mentality kind of sinks back in, because maybe you felt, well, when I didn't care about how I wore, I just kind of wore everything, and everything was kind of, whatever size it was. And now that I care, I have to be very specific about what size everything is and how everything should look perfectly. I'm like, this is not maybe raw denim brings in a certain OCD type of crowd, because there are rules, they're not hard and fast or anything like that, but maybe it brings that in. So everybody feels like everything needs to be, a certain way. And if it's not done correctly. And I'm just trying to loosen things up a little bit.
Right. I think you got, you have something there. It's like, I think this, like, raw denim is just, like, a thing that people are, like, like, when you discover it's just so many like theories and like, you know, like, well, like you say, rules, but like it's just there's so many information that like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just a personality thing for sure.
We've got a couple of comments in the chat. Oak Odell, yeah, I quit cigarettes 5 months ago. Good for you. And have gained weight. I got to wiggle and jump to fit my tatamis. Well, good for you for taking care of that cigarette business. But yeah, weight gain is for everybody. It's. I think it happens more often than the weight loss. Of course, if you're on a weight loss journey, that's a whole other thing. But you know, we have KMX. I gained 7 pounds since dating my girlfriend. I should have sized for growth. I fear that my jeans will no longer fit after I give them that first wash.
But also, I find it that if you lost weight when you're trying to lose weight, like you shouldn't lose weight more than you should. But like if you're trying to lose weight and if you lost weight, you don't mind buying new clothes for your new size.
That's
because
true.
You accomplish something.
Yeah.
Whereas like if it's like unintended weight gain, it's like. You don't want to. You know?
Right, you're right. When it's certainly during the like a lot of people during the height of the I gained a lot of weight. Like a lot of weight for me. And I went from all of my clothes like fitting to all of my clothes not fitting. Like not really, like I could get into them, but there was just a lot that there was no chance that this was going to fit anymore. And it really felt terrible. Right. Because, I mean, I have a lot of stuff. But I didn't, not that I didn't size, but I put on way more weight. Like that, like I gained a lot of weight around my waist area. And so.
That seems to be the only place your weight goes.
Yeah, all my weight goes right to my waist. So I gained a lot. And I was putting jeans on. And I wasn't buying things fitted. But I was now experiencing like, man, like there's.
This used to be so loose.
Yeah, this used to be loose on me. And now it's not loose on me. And I've actually been able to take some of that weight off, but yeah, it's never a great feeling. So I always think that just have a little bit of room, just for comfort, a little bit of room for accommodation if you're gonna grow a little bit. But when they're fitted and they're like quote unquote perfect, you're just one, again, like I said, one heavy meal away from them being not perfect. Lars Johannesson writes, hello, I have a question. You came to the right place. When I buy a pair of jeans from you, you have a box for special instructions / hemming requests. Can I write there that the jeans should be 32.5 inches long? Bingo. So when you shop on Tate Yoko or Naked Famous Denim NYC, when you're checking out, there is a special instructions or comment section that you can write your hemming request in there. And because we do the complimentary hemming on your jeans, you don't have to add anything to cart or anything like that. You just leave it in the special instructions and we've got you covered there.
But make sure it is the length that you want, and then it is not how many lengths shorter. Like
Some people say
can you hem 2 inches?
Yeah.
It's like that's going to be a problem.
Don't do that. Always write your inseam length. And
so you got it right.
You got it perfectly right. Yeah. Speaking of inseam length, actually, I should bring up that some brave individual, I've got to bring it up on, where is it? Is it here? Or was it on stories?
It might have been in the stories.
I don't know where it went. Wait, reels maybe. So if you go over to the Tate and Yoko.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, I see it. You're not going to have audio from the clip, although, hold on, maybe I can add it. Anyhow, go and check out this Reels at some point because we talked about it last week, the Bahzad special, speaking of hemming. And, well, somebody did, in fact, order the Bahzad special. We've got Terry showing it off right here. Boom. Look at that. Look at that inseam. Negative inseam.
So much negative inseam.
But a lot of room for activities.
Oh, 100%.
You've just got the mobility of your dreams here and customized with the patch. So there you go, guys. The Bahzad special is real. You can order it. Do what you want with that. So
and we include that leftover
Oh yeah,
rags.
we definitely include the leftover fabric. So there you have it. That was a little fun. Terry just in like a couple days ago, he messages us and he's like, "Somebody did it. Somebody ordered it."
It happened.
I'm like, what? And I'm like,
make sure
yeah,
that's actually what they mean.
Yeah, I told him. I was like, contact the customer. Make sure this wasn't just a joke. Like they actually want it.
Yeah.
He's like, okay. He's like, nope, they want it. I'm like, okay, very, very good.
We promised.
Hey, we deliver. We deliver.
We actually that one's a little easier because we don't have to finish the hem.
Yeah, there you go. BD writes, always go for that proper fit after years. Some jeans shrink right with wash. After years, some jeans shrink right with wash. Weight stays the same for me usually, but maybe also desire for a different fit and old jeans feel off after a while. Right. Yeah, you definitely have to account for washing when you size for your jeans. So that's the other thing. If they tend to fit quote unquote perfect after stretch, when you wash them, they're gonna feel snug again. And I've dealt with customers who, admittedly they maybe freak out is the too extreme, but they freak out when they get their jeans out of the wash and they're like, they don't fit anymore. Like these have shrunk. I'm like, they're gonna stretch. They're gonna stretch back out.
But if you can't put them on,
yeah.
then you can't stretch them out.
Right. So don't get your jeans so snug that they're painted on when they fit you right. Because when you wash them, they are going to be really tight. And look, with some work, you could probably get them back to that fit, but you don't want to work that hard. And you don't want to put that much stress on the fabric. Just give yourself a little bit of room. And, we are in the era now, I would say a couple years ago, I might have said it was maybe a crazy idea to think that skinny jeans are going anywhere. But I think we're in the era now that skinny jeans are going somewhere. And it's, they're not deleted, right? They're not gone.
No.
But certainly straighter and wider legs are back in the fray. So in the mainstream. So I'm glad to see more options. Mm-hmm. That said, here's some exciting news. The True Guy, the first delivery arrived in our warehouse today. Mm-hmm. The very, very first True Guy stretch selvage. So that just arrived today. We got to get it photographed, put online. I got to write a whole blog post introducing the fit and everything like that. But it is very soon that the True Guy is actually coming. Yeah. I remember very specifically there was a trip that Risa and I came back from Canada to Japan. We got put in quarantine jail. So we were stuck in like some hotel room in Japan for a couple days. And we did a live stream off of our iPad because that was the only thing we could do. Where we talked about naming the True Guy. Like the first idea of the True Guy. So that was a long time. Too long.
That was 2021.
Something. Maybe 20. No, it might have been 2020. It might have been November or December 2020.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Is it?
I think it was pre-vaccine era. I don't remember.
I don't remember. I feel like that was
maybe
the
it was
first trip
2020. Maybe
after COVID.
Somebody in the chat might remember, but
anyways,
that whole time's a blur. But I just remember being in that little quarantine and having this chat with you guys about True Guy, bringing it out, and thankfully, it's almost here.
I mean, it never happens, but
yeah.
Well, it did. And then it's gonna come like in more fabrics in the next.
Yeah, and as the weeks roll on, we're gonna have a little bit more. So it's all coming. True Guy's gonna be here. We're gonna have some classic straight leg jeans back in the Naked Famous Denim collection once again. So very much looking forward to it, and I can't wait for you guys to get your own pairs as well. Okay. KW writes, Business Insider has a video about recycling cotton from old jeans to make new pairs. Interesting look at the process in a Pakistan factory. Cool. I'll have to check that out. If recycling cotton from old jeans to make new pairs. So what they're probably doing, I haven't seen this video, but these donation boxes throughout the world, a lot of that clothing donation, they end up in a lot of, different countries. India, Pakistan is a big importer of these types of things. So some of the products, they go to, a lot of that stuff will get sold locally to people who will buy used clothing and then sell it in their markets. Whatever doesn't get sold, maybe some of it gets discarded. Probably a lot of it gets discarded. And then some of it will also end up in the recycling facilities. So the recycling facilities, what they'll often do is they have to separate the garments by the composition. So if it's a 100% cotton garment, they'll put it in a 100% cotton pile. If it's of a mixed fiber, it goes somewhere else. The mixed fiber stuff is actually, to my knowledge, is not really recyclable. Mm-hmm. But the 100% cotton stuff is, and then what they have to then do is determine if it has rivets, zippers, buttons, all that stuff, because that stuff can't go into the recycling machines. Well, the shredding machines. So they have to cut the legs, or they cut out portions of the leg where it's a pure 100% cotton piece, and then the rest of the stuff may end up as probably discard, waste, whatever. But they try to take as much as they can that is usable, then it gets shredded, mixed with new cotton, and then turned into a recycled cotton fiber. So yeah, it's a very interesting process. I remember a long time ago, it wasn't that long time ago, but every now and then I get these emails from students. Maybe they're in a fashion college or whatever, and they have some projects. So somebody was asking me once about essentially this. They're like, "Oh, our project is on recycling materials," and I don't think that they knew very much about the topic at all. They didn't know that this was already something going on in the world, and so they thought they were being very innovative. And I kind of told them, they said their idea. I'm like, okay, here's your idea, and here's why this doesn't work at all. Mm-hmm. And the composition part, anyway, I don't want to go into too much into what their proposal was, but one of the problems with recycling material is composition, mm-hmm. because for labeling issues and just for consistency of the fiber that they're trying. First off is the consistency of the fiber. Mm-hmm. So if you're just taking a bunch of fabric and you're chopping it up and then you're mixing it with cotton, you don't know what that fiber is made of. So it could be good. It could be good for certain applications. It could be bad for certain applications. And most importantly, because you don't know what's in the material, you can't label it. And then labeling laws, are international, so you can't use this for anything. So
yeah, but you also can't just make a yarn out of cotton blended fabric chopped into pieces. That's just not how it works.
Right. It won't hold together. So
maybe somebody comes up with a facility that can do that, but
But also, how do you remain the consistency of it? Each batch is going to be so different.
Yeah, they need to figure out. But it's also that's not something that can be done at a clothing label level. Not even a humongous labels mm-hmm. can't really. That's just a whole different scale.
Right.
So that's not something we can be oh, we should do that.
Yeah, no, it's different. That's why, recycling from the cutting. Look, recycling whenever you can is certainly a good idea. But recycling from the cutting is the easiest because you know exactly what that is. You don't have to worry about rivets or hardware or anything like that. Having to cut around it or worry about that stuff. You've got these clean, pieces of fabric that could easily be sent into recycling. So, yeah. Okay, we've got a good message in the chat here. Chris Griffin, tuning in late, busy day at work, came home and found my Yahan Power Stretch Bahzad specials.
Oh, there he is.
There he is. We were talking about you earlier, Chris. We were talking about hemming jeans, and of course, that we received a request for the Bahzad special this week. So, yeah, post some fit pics and let's
Keep it PG, though.
Yeah, no. You don't, please. Chris Griffin, I chose that for 4% stretch for increased comfort and increased stretch recovery. I asked my girlfriend and she misquoted, "I prefer you naked." Meant love, not prefer. Well, there you go. Chris, I'm not crotch guy, LOL. The infamous crotch guy. No, you're not him. I don't think that guy watches the chat. Watches the videos. Who knows though? Who knows? Brazer, LOL. Thanks for clarifying. Perfect. Okay. Pelv writes, "What sewing machine is great for making jeans?"
Oh, that's
It's a big question.
Are you making jeans as a hobby at home, or are you making jeans like you want to make jeans?
Yeah.
Because jeans making requires so many different machines.
Yeah. It's not one machine, it's many machines. And in the jeans business, most every operation has its own specialized machine.
Yeah.
Right?
And some of it can be, substituted by other machines.
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously, like some machines are set up so that a factory works efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
So you can, use the same machine for two different processes if you don't have access to them, for sure. But in general, like just having one machine and making a full entire pair of jeans is going to look like it's done on a home scale.
Right.
But if you're sewing something like heavyweight, and if you just want tabletop like home sewing machine, the Singer's heavy duty machines are pretty good at like.
Let me pull it up on Amazon. It's a pretty good machine.
It's for the price. And for the like accessibility, it's just plug in. You don't have to worry about nothing. It's pretty like it's very like user friendly,
and it's inexpensive.
It's very
inexpensive. So this is like, one that we can easily recommend if you want to do like little home crafts or projects with denim. This will sew through pretty much anything, and $189. You're good to go. That's a no-brainer. So,
and it doesn't have like computer parts and stuff like that. So like it doesn't do a lot of like things that like other modern machine can do. But this is enough if you just want like to do some basic sewing on the heavyweight fabrics. You can use it on a lighter weight fabrics too. It's just it can handle a little bit thicker fabric than maybe average machine.
Yeah, but I have a video of our factory in Stornoway, Quebec. It was part of a show called I forget what the name of the show was. Fashion Style Factory.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was like basically like a Canadian version of how it's made. And it was focused on apparel industry. And so they came and visited our factory. So it was on TV for a while, but I have the footage. I don't own it, so I've never put it up on our YouTube or anything like that, but I think I mentioned it a long time ago that I should check with them. Or maybe I should just do it, and anyhow, we'll see.
Do it and wait for the cease and desist.
wait for the cease and desist and wait for the copyright strike. I don't know. But yeah, I have the footage. I have to see if I can put it up. But yeah, Pelv writes, "I want to start a business in making jeans." Okay.
So that's a different question.
Yeah.
I can't tell you which.
I'm gonna say that if you're asking us on YouTube, you've got to do a lot more research into this topic.
Yeah.
Because if you're asking us, then there's probably a lot that you might not be aware of. Anyways, asking is always the first step. But yeah, it's you're gonna have to acquire a lot of machines to get into that. Okay. Daniel, a question on my mind for a long time is why domestic Japanese prices are somewhat lower than international when it comes to products from there. Does it end up only in shipping and handling costs? There's a lot of things when you're dealing with, but I mean it's the same as anything. Like a domestic American product is going to be cheaper in America than it is anywhere else in the world. Yes. Like if I want to buy a Rubbermaid like mop here in Japan, it is like 3 times the price of what it is in America.
Part of it is also that, like less people are looking for them. So like, there are products in the world that like cost pretty much the same everywhere in the world. Or maybe sometimes it's more expensive in domestic market. But when it comes to like clothing and, whatever products, like if you are buying within Japan or from a retailer in Japan, it's obviously cheaper because one, like that's coming, from closer from where,
the source.
Yeah, the source. So the shipping is cheaper. And then nobody had to go through the process of importing the product. When you buy from a retailer in America, for instance, they had to import them, not only pay for shipping, but also pay for the import duties and brokerage and all of those things. So like the cost is already higher. And on top of that, Japanese retailers' margins usually lower than what it is of American retailers or like European retailers. Just how the industry works. So you can you can see a price that's lower in Japan, like from a Japanese retailer when you're buying looking for Japanese products, but it might not necessarily end up being cheaper for you if you were to buy it from the United States. There is a convenience and,
Yeah. Also consider your customer service. When you're buying from a local American or Western retailer, they're able to communicate with you. They're able to, if you have a problem, you certainly don't have to ship it as far away. Yeah. So there are advantages to having somebody else deal with that. And if you're local, then there's a place for you to walk in and try it on. Right. And now, here's one thing that I don't recommend you do, because this is definitely a jerk move, is that when you go into a store locally, try something on, waste, and if you don't buy it there and you basically intend on going there to try it on so that you can buy it somewhere else, you're literally just wasting their time.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Really,
But you also like really are putting them in the long run. Like that business cannot survive if you keep doing that. If enough of people keep doing that, because they end up not being able to sell. Yeah. And then
it's called showrooming.
Yeah.
you basically walk in, you try everything.
Yeah, and that doesn't help you at the end. So, like, when you consider the cost, like, think of, not just the actual amount it's going to come out of your credit card today. It's way more complicated.
Yeah, I do find, like, you have to appreciate the service that you get at a retail store, and that's certainly part of it. Like, to just go in and use their services with no intention of buying, I find that to be... There's one thing if you're browsing, but if you specifically go in to say, I'm going to walk into their store where they're paying rent, they're paying staff, I'm going to get the staff to bring me sizes, I'm going to try it on in their change room, and then I'm going to walk out of that store and I'm going to go on my phone and I'm going to buy it somewhere else. That is very rude. And the retailers know when you're doing it, and they don't like you. They really don't. They just they.
But it's not, obviously it's not illegal, so they can't call it out on you, and you're putting them in a very bad.
You put them in a bad spot because now they have to. They're going through the effort of bringing in a very niche product and carrying it in their store, and if they're not selling that product, then the brand is going to be like, well, why aren't you selling the goods? Or maybe they're not going to order as much down the line, and then it hurts the brand. It's a whole thing. But certainly, don't showroom your retailers. Whether it's jeans or anything else, I think it's one thing to be genuinely interested and just browsing. That's fine, no problem. Nobody is offended by that. But I think retail staff and people are generally able to recognize the showroomer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not a. It's yeah. I don't. I could rant about that forever, but I just don't do it. Okay. JR, I eat so many free samples when my grocery store puts them out. Yeah, that's fine, because they put them out for you, right? If you go to Costco and you enjoy, all the free samples that you can, that's part of the experience. That's perfectly okay. If you're operating within.
Yeah. And they're not expecting every single person who tries it
to buy it.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think enough people do. That's why they continue to do it.
Yeah.
Like they're not like they're meant for that. And I have like tried stuff and then bought stuff. Mm-hmm. And most of the time I don't. But
yeah. Right. But that's entirely the point. It's like we know that a certain percentage of people are going to enjoy this, mm-hmm. And maybe enough that they're going to buy it. But yeah, anyhow. The Raven, high schoolers are the worst culprits of showrooming. High schoolers. When I was a high schooler.
I understand though, because when you're in high school, you don't understand how anything works.
Yeah. you just certainly don't understand that. You figure, they're there to get paid anyways, and this and that. And when you start working, you start to realize that there's more to it than just that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's some of it goes back to. I think we were talking about it the other day, me and you. During the pandemic, and even before, but certainly during the pandemic, there was a lot of discussion of like support local, support local, support local. Mm-hmm. And I appreciated that sentiment being out there. But some people, I'm not picking on anybody. This is a general statement. You get that people want these. It's hard to explain. It's hard to explain without getting into like fury mode. When a customer likes, independent brands, independent stores, this type of stuff that we all make, we take a lot of, pride in the products that we make, and we're not trillion-dollar businesses. And yet you still get some customers who they want to be all about the support, small brands, independent brands. These guys are making all the coolest, the best stuff, that type of thing. And then expect the, big box retailer in terms of, I want this shipped out, with 5-minute delivery. I want free deliveries. I want free this. I want, all that stuff that's wrapped up in like the big box retailer where, they would allow me to, even if I set fire to this TV, they'd take it back, know?
This is not acceptable.
Yeah.
You didn't ship it for like 2 days.
Yeah. So some of that kind of stuff, and I just wonder, like, how did the idea, like, there's a lot of people who get and start understand how these businesses work. Like, we... as a company, we make money. Obviously, there has to be some amount of margin in our products for us to make money and be sustainable, pay all of our employees properly, and all that stuff, right? And so I get that. I'm going to presume that everybody in this chat right now understands that. Mm-hmm. Everybody has to make a little bit of profit so that we can all continue to do what we need to do. The retailer, us, everybody. But when you start expecting like all those free things, free this, free that, free shipping, some people, not you guys, none of you guys, tell your friends who maybe are not aware of this stuff. But, free shipping isn't free. It's either built into the cost or it's just part of their margin play. When you make $1 trillion sales and you are working on razor sharp margins, you still make lots of money. Mm-hmm. That's because you have trillions of dollars in sales. And so for the customer who expects the service of $1 trillion business from a small independent retailer, it is so unfair for you to put that on the small business and expect all this stuff from them. It's the big businesses know that if we have these kinds of policies, like that is their way of being competitive. Like we know the small business can't compete with us, so people are going to come and shop with us. I get that.
That's
right?
how they got big.
Right, that's how they got big.
Continue to be bigger.
But we are trying to make products that are unlike the products that you can find there. Products that are very, very specialized. And maybe we have a little bit more margin in our products than they have. But that's because we sell tremendously less than they do. And in order for everyone to be fairly compensated along the way, that's what needs to be done. So just understand that small businesses operate like small businesses and big businesses operate like big businesses. And if you like the policies of the big businesses, please go and support those big businesses. They seem to have the kinds of products and services that you really want. And if you want the small businesses type of products, then understand what that comes with. And if you start mixing the two, you're going to put the small business out of business because they can't do those things. And they might be able to bend their back once or twice, but if they can't do that, they can't sustain that forever. It is not a sustainable model.
Yeah. And then you're going to live in the world where only big retailers have the power and they have the ultimate power. Like, you might, like, you know, it's just, that's not, I mean, that's not the world I would want to live in. I think that's not the world that most people want to live in. Like, the thing with, you know, a lot of big retailers that have power, not only can they give you, can they give consumers a better deal, but they also are very like they're also not, you know, if you're a small brand and you couldn't comply with their set of rules, then they're not gonna either they're not gonna buy from you or they're gonna bully you into complying with their way of doing business, and that's not also sustainable. So you end up really hurting yourself because small brands cannot survive. Not just smaller retailers can't survive, but smaller brands cannot even survive in that situation. So there's just going to be a very boring, you know, landscape.
A very boring landscape. Yeah. Which look, may be for you, right? It may be for you.
Yeah. And that,
which is fine.
There's a reason why like mass brands are mass brands and they're, you know, popular, but it's just like, like I think anybody who's in this conversation are interested in more, you know, independent, unique brands who does, you know, things that not mass market, you know, I wouldn't say they're not approved, but like they're not mass market favorites.
Right.
So I think in just like a bigger scale, you really want to support small retailers, even if you can see a benefit of big box retailers.
Right. Trevor Roth writes, bought a $400 shirt, sized by the shop's advice, didn't fit, wouldn't let me return even for another size. Well, don't let the price isn't really the issue. The policy is where your problem is. It could have been a $50,000 shirt for all it mattered. If the policy was what the policy was, you have to abide by the policy. Yeah. So maybe it was on sale at $400. Even if it was a regular price, look, I don't know what the circumstances are, but I would say that sometimes, sometimes we get the sense, you know, we deal with a lot of customer service questions. And a lot of questions come in and they're saying, I'm so-and-so height, so-and-so weight, what size should I buy? And I'm going based on no photos, no nothing, you know, height and weight. Height and weight, that I don't know where you handle or carry your weight. Are you a muscular 165 pounds or are you a average 165 pounds? I don't know. So we try to give general sizing advice, and then we always go back to, you know, follow the measurements, yada, yada, yada. But the sense, every now and then you get the customer who will say, well, you told me to buy this size. And we will always respond, we didn't tell you to buy that size. We recommended that size based off of the information you provided us, but we also told you X, Y, and Z. Now, if the product that you receive doesn't match the specs that we listed them as, certainly we can have a conversation about that. Regardless, at Tate Yoko, we do try our best to accommodate everybody. Like, even if something is beyond what our customer service policy is, we try to accommodate you. And I would say that most small businesses will try to do that. Certainly, if you ask them the right way.
Yeah, don't come at them.
Yeah, don't come at them. I will tell you this right now. Even if you're not wrong, even if you're 100% right in the situation, if you come in and you say, hey, I know I made a mistake with the sizing here, but I really want to get this item, I don't want to have this thing in my closet looking at it doesn't fit. Like, can you try and help me out here? I'll pay for the return. Whatever. Try to be as accommodating. Try to be as understanding as possible. And more often than not, you're gonna get your way. Believe me, there's nothing more I hate dealing with is an unreasonable customer.
Yeah. Entitled.
Yeah.
Unreasonably entitled customer.
Like, the customer service policy is this. I've had my jeans for 6 months and they're fading. And why are they fading? You guys didn't write that anywhere. And, they told me to size down 2 and now they're too tight. I'm like, I never told you any of this stuff. And just, obviously our aim is to try and please customers when we can, but certainly there are some amount of people who are unpleasable. Yeah. Trevor Roth, dude got offended when I sent him his own return policy, and after that, no emails back. Now that's poor customer service, right? So I certainly don't want you to tell me who the retailer is or anything like that, but that is when you're like, okay, well, now I'm not a customer of that business anymore.
Right. We're not saying all small businesses have,
amazing,
try their best in customer service. Yeah. That's not what we're saying.
There are certainly places that are not as friendly as they could be. But like, we're not every small business is the innocent angel, trying.
For sure.
Right.
But what we are saying is that try to understand there's a different level of accommodation they can provide based off of what their business, the scale is.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes it's really, like, free returns, again, it's going to hit you a lot differently if you are a larger retailer than you are a smaller retailer, and try to understand that when you're like dealing with customer service, people from smaller companies.
Yeah.
And also, like, just like, in general, like, the benefit of, buying from a smaller retailer is that they generally are, more knowledgeable of the products. You ask customer service of a big box retailer about a product, they're not going to know anything about it. They've never seen it. Like,
even if you go to like one of our department store like partners, look, as nice as some of the people are on this floor, like, I remember doing product knowledge. Here's the problem. Okay, this is a great rant, by the way. Okay, I remember we used to work with some department stores, and Risa and I would go in to do product knowledge seminars with the staff. We come in early morning, bring breakfast, all this stuff. It's great. And, here's this group of like 30 people that we're talking about denim with. Presumably, and, these are all the people from like the menswear department. And the amount of people that just, okay, raise your hands if you know what raw denim is. 1 or 2 hands pop up. I'm like, you're in a luxury department store
that carries
our product, right? And who here knows what Selvedge denim is? And it's recycled denim, and you're like, no. Okay. So you go through this process and you realize how little the big store staff know about anything, and admittedly, I mean, this isn't everyone, like, somebody might be working in suits, somebody might be working here and there, but I just find that, if you're working in menswear, fine menswear, you should know a lot about a lot of different things. And I just don't get that when I go into these stores and I see these places anymore. I just don't feel that sense. When I go into the small store, the Dutil Denim, the Blue Owl workshops, those guys know what's up because their staff is trained. Everyone is involved. Everyone's involved in the process, right? The buyer is the owner, is the guy on the floor. Everyone is very interconnected with everything. And so you get the best possible service in that situation. Mm-hmm. Now, Long John writes a comment. Problem is, small brick and mortar business owners are often rude, unknowledgeable, and ask 50% more than online shops is a shame. I wouldn't say that all or often. I would say that the ones that exist, maybe some of them are a little more notorious than others, perhaps. So, look, there are some retailers that have bad reputations. There are many retailers that have good reputations. I think maybe I'm just biased because I think that we only work with great and wonderful people. So I know that not the greatest people are out there. Some people might be a little bit crass or rude or things like that. I've experienced them too, right? But I think by and large, the smaller retailer, the independent, these are people who have a lot more passion into the thing that they're doing, right? Whether it's the local jewelry store or, you're selling candles and fragrances and things like that. The people there know. There is a store in New York called Meadow, remember that store? Salt and bitters. And bitters and chocolate. Yeah. So they had just every kind of salt you can imagine. Bitters for cocktails, all of them. All of them. Not some of them, all of them. They had all of them. And they had all of the best chocolate.
Fancy
fancy chocolate.
But not like fancy as in like a famous patissier or whoever makes chocolate made it. It's like block, what do you call it? Like the bar of chocolates, but the fancy ones. Yeah.
And you'd go in there and you're just like, there's a lot of stuff here. And the staff was always great. So there was one in Lower East Side, New York. Mm-hmm. I think they were originally from Portland.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And then they opened one here in Tokyo, which unfortunately closed. But I remember Reese and I were walking by and we saw that. And we're like, is this the same company? Yeah. And it was there. Yeah. And we were so happy that they were here. We bought a bunch of stuff. But everything that was in that store, you could ask them, and the sales staff knew what it was, how to, what was special about it. They were always kind and friendly. I really, really enjoyed walking and entering stores like that. Right? There's another one here in Japan for headphones called E-Earphone, and they have all of the headphones. And I love headphones. I still buy them every now and then. I used to buy them a lot. And you go in there, they have everything. Not some of the things. All of the things. Every headphone you can imagine, they have it there.
And most of them have like staff's like comments on comments.
Yeah.
It's like, why is this one a good headphone?
Yeah.
It's like handwritten notes from the staff.
And so much of the stuff is just available for you to just use. You didn't have to ask anybody to bring it out of the counter. It's right there for you to touch it. And and then of course they had all the stuff that maybe you have to ask, but literally stuff from like $25 up to like tens of thousands of dollars, all here for you to try. And the staff is just so nice. Anything you ask for, here you go, try it out. They're not going to bother you. If you have any questions, they're going to answer it for you. Really, really great. Imagine just being someone who's into headphones and walking into a shop and being like, I'd like to try those $4,000 headphones on. And without a blink or a bit of judgment, here you go. Try it out. And if you want to know everything about them, I'm here to tell you about it. Really, really great. Yeah. So I love small shops that are specialized
Yeah.
Because you get such an amazing experience going into there.
That's what I'm like. What we're trying to say is that support, like, will understand like how the whole economy works, but also like support the retailer that you like. If you like a customer service of a certain retailer, then support them. If you don't like, it doesn't really matter how small or big they are. If you don't like how they were treating you, if you didn't think it was fair for them to react the way that they reacted for your question or like request or whatever, then don't support them. You have the power of choosing who you buy things from. So just
Yeah. Cathedral Ring writes, lack of product education from brands themselves sometimes. The right big box brings reps in, depends on the company. Yeah, right. So you have to understand that, say you're a big, say you're a nationwide department store, and your brand is now in 25 stores, right? 25 stores as a small brand for some of these things, they have a little bit of a pinch of salt in each store. But as a brand, if you were to go and travel to each one of those 25 stores and do that product knowledge seminar, you're broke by the end of it. For you to travel to 25 cities, do 25 product knowledge seminars, the time, the cost, and amount, you can't do it.
Yeah.
When you're an anchor brand in one of those stores and you have sales reps all over the country, certainly you can do that every season. That's not really a big deal. But I've been on those travel tours, and especially when I go to those big box stores and you see the turnover rates of those stores, and you're constantly doing these product knowledge seminars, and every season you go there and you ask the same question, who knows what Selvedge denim is? And nobody knows what it is, and like everybody's a fresh face, it becomes an impossible task. Because nobody in their management side cares whether or not that staff knows anything. You've got all the pressure as a brand. You have all the pressure to make sure that product is performing in that store. Otherwise, they're gonna drop the line. They're gonna try to return things. You really have to bend a lot in order to make something work at a big box store, and that's why you don't see brands of our level really at the department stores anymore. They don't care about this type of product. They want a product that is mass recognized, ginormous margins, so that when they mark it down, they're still making tons of money.
Yeah, and they don't have to train their staff in order to sell them.
Yeah.
Like, they want products that sell on its own because the brands are advertising them on magazines and social media and stuff like that. So I mean, it's just like again, like
that's what the independent's for. The independent's the curated spot where they're like, okay,
you can discover things that you've never heard of, or like it's just like things that like you might like that you don't see in those big box retailers and stuff like that yet, and that's how you get like larger too as a brand. And I'm not saying like bigger brands are worse at it. It's just when you are of a certain size, then you have to act like it. And then another thing is that like if you are a big brand, or if you buy a big brand for your store, like you can't just contact the brand and ask about an information on the products. That's why they have these reps going around and maybe giving you product knowledge. But if it's a small brand, they might not have the resources to send you reps every season or whatever. But if you ask them about the products, they're going to respond to you. They're going to be like, oh, this is the information we have on this product, blah blah blah. So it's it's just a different type of like
Yao Ming's friend writes, American customer service will never reach the levels of Nihon no style. I would say American customer service, there's a big difference, I think, between American customer service and Japanese customer service. Japanese customer service up front looks very you go into a hotel, you go into any kind of service thing, it's always very, very kind of professional, right? The where Japanese customer service generally lacks is the aftercare. Because I think a lot of retailers here, like once you have something, they're like, oh, it's yours. Like they're like the amount of the idea that you can return an item in Japan, it's very foreign. Like if you bought an item and you literally in 1 second were to turn around and be like, you know what, I actually don't want this. Like that would be a problem. Like most retailers would be like, I don't know, that's yours. Like I literally just sold it to you. Why are you here to bring this to me?
But okay, so my question is that like a North American idea for as long as retail existed, or is it some of a more newer like
I would say
idea?
It probably grew from it definitely grew. I don't think that was always the case.
Right. You can't I just don't right now you if you buy a dress from Nordstrom, like you can wear it to a friend's wedding, fully wear it, use it, and then return it still.
Yeah. You
certainly can, and it's like that's insane to me.
Mm-hmm. Right. So in Japan, returning an item is generally a problem. Not always, but generally a problem. Whereas in America, the return policies and the aftercare are a lot more lenient, I would say. Mm-hmm. And I would say independent businesses usually have some kind of like, maybe it's a final sale, but you can exchange the item. Some have like a 7-day or a short return window, fine. But in Japan, the return window is like non-existent.
Well, like not a lot. It's not. And like it's not rare to see a policy where like if there's nothing wrong with the product, you cannot return it you can't just return it because you didn't like it or it didn't fit you. If you can only return it if it's like has a hole in it or whatever.
Yeah.
It's I think that's fair.
I agree that it's fair, but it certainly makes me. Not that I was ever a big returner of anything.
Yeah.
I often took the L. Like if I bought something I didn't like it, I just took the L. I'm like, whatever.
No, but another thing to consider is that like the reason why those like big company offer free returns, like they almost encourage you to return, is because that makes people buy more, easier to buy, and that opposite of that is happening in Japan because it is a decision. So you don't just buy it and then think about it after. You certainly think about it before and buy it.
In the West, it is definitely a sales. Again, it's by often by $1 trillion companies who figured out the math, and they said, if we say people can return things, people will often buy more. Mm-hmm. In general. Like we're talking the spread. We're not talking about individual customers. We're saying the spread is people will buy more, they will return some, but overall we will sell more. So it's best for business. Let's just we'll run it this way. Understood. And so as I'm here in Japan, I'm a little more cautious about the things that I buy. Right? I might not sometimes there's like a little tech gadget that I want. And I'm like, Again, but I'm generally not a returner. Like it just gets thrown into a drawer somewhere. But like I'm always like, but I'm always worried like if it really sucks. But anyways.
But that's just in my opinion, that's kind of like saving everybody's time, because you actually think about it, and you're not really deterred from buying things that you actually want. Maybe that just like is. That's a deterrence to some of like impulse purchases or like things that you just like, I don't know if I need it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe just.
But yeah.
But the customer service in general, I think it's twofold, right? Like so the aftercare is more of like how much like how the business is set up, like how what's the structure? Do they include that return rate or cost of return into the margin that that they charge
Right.
require.
Yeah.
Whether or not. And that kind of comes back to Japanese retailer operating on lower margin because they can't accommodate all the returns like American retailers because their margin is smaller.
Yeah.
And because their margin is smaller, they can sell it at lower price.
Yeah. But Japanese customers, like, you know, in like when I worked at the department store, if you got a return, you inspected it, you made sure it was good, you put that item back out on the floor. It didn't, you know, obviously things that were returnable had to be in resellable condition, but that item would be put back on the floor. In Japan, that would probably be a problem. Like if they got a return for something, they might not know what to do with it because they're like, this isn't new. How can I sell this as new if it's not new?
Yeah, and that's what James Cardenas says, and that's why there's so much waste in the States. So that's true. Like some of the things that they return, they're not gonna like resell it because the $1 trillion
companies that is either going to get
right to
it
garbage.
Might get dumped or they resell it at like an auction or what they but it's not the same.
No,
it's just not the same.
But what I was trying to say was like that part aftercare is kind of based off of like the business structure and the difference in like customer like facing interaction part. I think that's more cultural. Like you said like on like upfront customer service is better in Japan. I think it's cultural. Like I think people expect like a person in store to be very polite to you.
Yes.
And the workers in the stores, they want to be very polite to you. They don't want to, be casual or like offend anybody by accident or anything like that. That's what's the cultural difference, I think. In America, I think, there's more value in being friendly and approachable, whereas here it's more like...
It's professional.
Professional,
like you're the customer, I'm here to serve you.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas in the States, it's like, hey, we're pals.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like... Sometimes the palsiness, because I'm just been here for so long, the palsiness gets a little bit. I'm like, I'm not your.
No, I think there's a good and bad.
Yeah, there's
both.
good and bad, sure. But sometimes I feel certain things are way too casual, and I'm like, we're like, I'm not trying to be like I'm over you or anything like that, but.
This is a business.
Yeah, we're doing business here, right? Like let's tone it down. Like I'm not being this casual with you. I don't know why you're being this casual with me. So true. Sometimes it feels a little like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
But anyways, that's the big difference, I think. And anyways, I think it's an interesting conversation to talk about the differences and just our expectations in general. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't appreciate like being treated like a big box retailer. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, if you want the big box stuff, I know where to send you.
Yeah.
Right. And I like just it really kind of bugs me at like in the same breath where we talk about support local, support small, support this, support that. Got it. I appreciate that sentiment is out there, but just understand what that actually means. It's not let's try and treat this small little store that is selling candles and handmade this and that like they're the people who own this are one of the richest people in the universe. Mm-hmm. Right? Let's understand that there's a difference here of what this company can do for you for their nichely beautifully made small product versus the mass market product that you can use and return at the big box store.
Right.
We're in different worlds here. Okay. Corey writes, in general, what's the Canadian retail experience like? I imagine most people are quite pleasant there. I would say that it's pretty casual. You know what? When I go to an American restaurant, that's where I find the biggest difference between Canadian and American customer service. Where I find the American restaurant, like server, waiter, waitress, maitre d', whatever it is, they're so professional and kind. Like, it feels like I'm watching a movie about a restaurant sometimes, where it's like, everyone is so good at their job, right? I don't know what it is, but they're very pleasant, they're very nice, and whereas sorry if I'm knocking my Canadian brethren, but I just find that level of service in the Canadian service industry doesn't exist to the same way. I feel like I get the sense that they'd rather be somewhere else than where they are right now, and I can feel it.
I think maybe, I don't know, it's like, I think Montreal is more French that way, like in the way that it's like, their friendliness is not their strong suit.
Not everywhere. Like, we went to Joe Beef in the summertime, and service there, but of course, it's one of the best restaurants in the country.
And you can see why.
Yeah, you can absolutely see why. But, like, I can go to an American, like, small diner, and, like, the waitresses there are so kind and friendly, and, like, just, I get a sense of caring from them, and it feels sometimes like a cartoon or a movie where I'm like, this is amazing. So I do enjoy.
If there's like actual difference between American and Canadian average customer service culture. Like, I feel like it's pretty similar.
Yeah.
Now.
In many ways, yeah, but I do find the restaurant stuff. That's where I really see the difference. That's where I see the difference. Brainstar, gotta work for those tips. You gotta work for those tips. Cathedral Ring, don't they make $22 an hour or so? Don't they make $22 an hour, so they have to work the guests to make money? So they have to work. I'm not sure. I don't know what the wages are for restaurant workers.
But yeah, like Canada, both Canada, America, they both work for tips.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's no difference there, I think.
Yeah. Rice W5, in the UK, there is a thing of buying shop return lots from big retailers who have soft return policies. Man, I know a man I know bought 400 watches, same type, some perfect, some useless. I had 4 off him, 1 good, 3 junk. Right. Yeah. There is the same thing. I don't think it's as known, but yeah, like like big chain online, retailers, they have their product returns available as like lots. You buy like a giant mystery lot of, $4,000 or $5,000 worth of merchandise, and you get a pallet worth of stuff. And so like a lot of this stuff, maybe if you're like a flea market or like, you buy this stuff because, you are in the business of reselling items. But yeah, that's where a lot of that stuff ends up. Junior writes, Waffle House have the best fights in America.
Great.
Never been to a Waffle House.
I know, me neither. Yeah. I really want to, though.
I would like to. You guys have a lot of great local chains across America, and I want to experience all of them. And I hope to. Yeah. Okay. So that was a fun little rant about retail and retail experience in general. Hopefully you learned something. Anyways, if you have questions about denim, happy to answer them for you here. I'm just trying to. I'm out of topics for a minute here.
Let's see. What are we? I think somebody asked about MIJ 11 in the chat like a long time ago. Let's just review some of like the upcoming releases like next week.
Yes, we have. Well, we have that. I think we have the MIJ 11 fabric swatch in there somewhere.
All right, I'll find it.
Yeah, I got Snowy taking a nap here. I don't want to just. Oh, good, perfect. So the MIJ 11 is coming very soon. We're going to release the next MIJ on March the 31st, so the last day of the month. These will be extremely limited. I think in total there's less than 100 pairs. I have to review the numbers, but I think it was like between 110 and 100 pairs. So not very many. There's a couple of retailers that are going to have these. The blog posts are going to come up very soon. This is natural Kakishibu Hank dyed denim. So if you remember the MIJ8, that was the Tokushima hand dyed natural indigo selvage. This is done exactly the same way, but using persimmon dye. Now, what's really neat, actually, one of the big differences between the persimmon and I guess there is some similarity, but the interesting part about the way they handle the persimmon dye is that it is dipped and then hung and left to dry. And the way that the persimmon dye, indigo reacts, obviously it oxidizes and changes colors, but I think more so with the persimmon dye.
Persimmon dye reacts to sunlight, like UV light. Or I don't know if it's specifically UV, but it reacts to sunlight. So
right.
Like
instead of oxygen. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So they need to hang it outside where the sun
beats down on it.
Yes.
So the sunlight changes the color of the yarns, and then they dip it again. Mm-hmm. And then they leave it outside, they hang it to dry, they dip it again. So what you really get, and as you can tell, is that you get a very inconsistent tone in all of the yarns. So when you're weaving with a bunch of different, slightly variant colors of persimmon dye, you get this beautiful gradation tone on top of the slubby texture, which is quite evident. So you get a very, very, very beautiful denim. And this fabric is even more rare than the natural indigo hank dyed stuff. Like the hank dyed stuff is rare. Available yarns might come up, I don't know, every year or so. Maybe not even. There's a lot of demand for the small amount of yarns that come out. But this, I mean, when we had our opportunity, they're like, you like the mill called us up and they're like, we have some yarn available to make denim. Do you want it? And we're like, yes, we do. And they're like, okay, we can make this much. And this much is the 100 or so pairs. And that's it. Like, even if I wanted to make 1,000 pieces of this, I can't. There's not enough yarn to make it available in at all. Like they just don't produce enough of it, and they can't because it's such a laborious process. Mm-hmm. So certainly one of the rarest fabrics around, and it does not come up very often. So if you're looking for a rare and very intriguing denim, then this is going to be one for the collection. They will not be cheap. This is going to be in the 800 range. Yeah. And I can tell you this, honestly, is that we actually took a lower margin on this one just because we wanted it to be in the affordable range, right? It is not enough. It would have
been easily over $1,000 Gene if we were to take the regular margin.
For us, this wasn't like a
make money
project. This was a tribute of this fabric and the love of this fabric more than anything else. It's like even with the 32-ounce denim, when we put those out, like we took a really small margin on those just so that we can make sure that people could actually have them. And I know $800 is not the people can have them, but whatever we can do to make it affordable. I don't know, that's not the right word, but that we did it. Let me just pull it up on Tate Yoko. MIJ 11. So yeah, you can see them on Tate Yoko now. We've got them $788. Actually, they're less expensive than I thought they were going to be. I thought we were going to have them for $888. Anyways, even better. And
I hope we didn't make a mistake.
I hope we didn't make a mistake.
Anyway, $880 sounds like some price I was thinking.
Right, that's what I thought they were going to be. So it's possible that this is a mistake. I'm going to double check it. But yeah.
So I also read another interesting thing, because the Kakishibu dye is a natural dye and it does react to sunlight. Even after you you have it as jeans. Depending on where you store your jeans, like you store it like by the window outside of a dresser, or like you put it in the dresser in the closet or whatever, like where you don't see any sunlight. Like the color might like be different if after however many years.
So it is an ever evolving color.
Yeah.
And the other thing to note on the jeans, it's a shell Cordovan leather patch. Is it? Yes, this is the shell Cordovan patch. I'm pretty sure. We're gonna have to double check, but I'm pretty sure that's what we put on there, and it looks like it. So we'll double check. See, I don't remember all the details of everything.
It's so long ago.
The thing is, I've never got a physical sample of this jean.
Right.
We only ever got the fabric swatch because there was so little of this fabric.
Yeah, we only made we didn't. I don't. Think
we didn't even make a sample. So, yeah, I have to to do the video. I don't want them to send me one. Because
we have to.
I want every piece to go out, so I have to figure it out because I'm sure I can get Garrett to do the video of it, but I like doing things my way, and
you can pretend.
I can pretend like this is a jean. So, anyways, the video and all that stuff will be coming out soon. I guess I just have to clarify that leather patch. I'm pretty sure it's a shell patch. Kazarko writes, Cordovan, is that horse leather? Cordovan is horse leather. Shell Cordovan is horse butt leather. Like, it's the upper hind quarters of the horse.
Is Cordovan like any horse leather?
I'm pretty sure.
Interesting. I thought it was only the butt.
No, shell Cordovan is the butt, but Cordovan leather is
any part of
shell Cordovan. Maybe I have to double check that. But my understanding was that Cordovan is horse leather and shell Cordovan is just the butt. C. writes, is it from Horween? It is not from Horween, it is from Japan. So it's a Japanese sourced shell Cordovan. C. writes, Cordovan is horse. Right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The Cordovan.
The shell is the butt. See, I was pretty sure about that, and C. is confirming this for me.
All right.
So either we're both wrong or we're both right. But I think we're both right. Shane Delhunty, is it even finer than regular horsehide? Yes. This is the filet mignon this is the A5 Wagyu of leather. It is practically indestructible, shines beautifully. Do a little bit of research on it. It is certainly is it the most expensive leather out there? It's gotta be up there.
Well, aside from those rare
super
animals,
rare exotics. But it's like a basketball-sized piece of leather. So there's only so much you can do with a piece of leather that big. It shines up incredibly, and it's super durable. So beautiful shoes are often made with shell Cordovan because they just don't hold those creases the same way that a different leather would. So all of the most expensive wallets, that's not fair because there's a lot of designer wallets that are not using fine leather, but they're not using the most expensive leather. But if you go to like a leather craftsman, the best stuff is often the shell Cordovan stuff. And
the most expensive stuff.
Yeah. It's like the Rolls Royce of leather. Yeah. Whatever the top of the pinnacle, the Mount Everest, the peak, that's it. If you can get something in a shell Cordovan, it will last forever. Forever? Yeah, I'm gonna say forever. But that's like, if you have a shell Cordovan wallet, that's a hand-me-down. Like, you will be able to give that to your children, and they will be able to give it to their children. It is going to last a very, 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 very long time. Short of forever. Maybe I shouldn't say forever. Nothing lasts forever. Uncanny Fox. Shell leather is the leather that is found in the horse's rump. Shell Cordovan leather is the shell leather tanned in Cordoba, Spain. Shell Cordovan leather. Maybe. To my understanding, shell Cordovan is specifically the hind rump part of the horse leather.
It's not
necessarily from a particular region or anything, because you get like Horween
like
shell. Yeah, it's not like champagne or what other liquors? Like what's from Tennessee? I don't drink. So bourbon. I think bourbon has to be from a specific area. Like compositionally, it could be the same thing, but like the
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It cannot be called that if it's from a different region. Francisco Michael, I'm in Chicago. My dad worked for Horween. It's the horse's hind membrane, not leather at all. Horse's hind membrane. All right, well.
It's just...
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. So, anyways, the science of what it is might be as... I'm sure it's as deep as...
yes, bourbon is from Kentucky.
Sorry, bourbon is from Kentucky, I believe. The membrane and not leather at all. Okay, well, that's beyond my knowledge of, the definitions of leather.
What is the membrane?
Yeah. Clothed and unknown. Dumb question on Naked and Famous Denim t-shirts. Why are they hang dry shrinkage? Why are they hang dry? Question mark. Shrinkage. So if I want to shrink one, is the dryer okay?
Dryer's okay.
Yeah. We say hang dry for everything because
it's better to hang dry for sure. Like it's putting any clothing in dryer. It does I think damage is a strong word, but it does do some damage compared to hang drying. So just to be safe, we put hang dry, but we put it in our dryer every time.
Yeah.
So it does shrink a little bit.
What we put on the tag is what we recommend.
Yes.
But what you do with your own products is your own business.
Yes.
But hang dry is going to preserve the integrity of the garment for as you had purchased it for as long as possible.
Yeah.
When you put things in the dryer, that's when things shrink. That's when the abrasion happens. Yeah. So look, most of us at some point put things in the dryer, even if things don't belong in the dryer, and sometimes we learn our lesson as to why we shouldn't put those things in the dryer, or we are just perfectly comfortable with the results of the dryer.
Yeah.
But by and large, you'll find a lot of products out there say hang dry because
as a manufacturer, you don't want to be in trouble.
You want to you're gonna walk with caution.
Yeah.
In this world.
Because if you say you can put it in the dryer and then say something happens in the dryer, people will blame us for it.
Yeah.
So we just don't want that.
We're not taking account we're not going to be accountable for that. My t-shirt shrunk in the dryer. Yes.
Yes.
So therefore, I know you're a small business, but you need to give me a refund and
free next purchase.
A free trip to Disneyland. I can't believe it. The amount of
emotional distress.
The emotional distress. I had to go see my therapist, and they actually stopped seeing me because I complained about drawing things too much. So I had to find a new therapist.
And now you have to pay for this therapist for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And
so
that sounds
fun. And it was the only t-shirt I had, and it was small on me. And I wore it to an interview, and they thought I didn't get the job, and it was definitely because they thought my shirt was too small. So, what are you going to do for me? Don't know,
I
man.
guess we just have to give you the world.
Yeah.
Free trip to Disneyland.
Yeah, free trip to Disneyland.
That's the ultimate.
It's the only way I can relax, and... But as brands, we gotta exercise some amount of caution.
Yeah.
KW writes about the Cordovan. Shell is technically not skin. It's a tissue under the skin on the butt. Horween made in USA. Shinky made in Japan. also some Italian. Right. But I think that, like, because leather in general, just generally speaking, you know, when you talk about different kinds of leather, full grain leather, there's the suede or nubuck, there's top grain leather. Those are all parts of the skin, right? So it's different levels of it.
Yeah. You take top layer out sometimes. Sometimes not. So whatever.
So I guess maybe technically, membrane or there might be.
Yeah. Layers that is deeper than what we call leather in other animals, maybe.
Right.
Who knows?
Somebody knows.
Yes.
Somebody knows. I don't know. I'm not the mega leather expert.
Yeah. I would like to know more about leather.
Yeah.
Just I never had a chance.
Yeah.
Really.
I pick up a little bit here and there, but I'm not tremendously educated on leather. I like what I see though. I know what I like when I see it. Mm-hmm. That I can. How does that go? I don't know about art, but I know what I like. That was all. And when I was in art class in high school, that was always what I would say.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just a good.
It's a good way to live life. If you're gonna be dumb, you gotta be tough.
Okay. All kinds of like single line.
Just life lessons by slogan. That's it. Okay, Corey writes, time to get a leather expert on the live stream. You're not wrong.
Yeah, we can ask all kinds of questions.
Pelv, is there talks about a heavier linen slub for this year? Not this year.
Yes.
But we are working on
something
for next year. A beautiful, anyways.
Hopefully.
It's in development right now. There's no sample fabric or nothing yet. It is something we are developing for next spring. Ish.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
You all know how it works with us.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does come in time, sometimes it doesn't.
But I have to say that lead times now in Japan are
very long.
Very long.
Very long. Part of it is the yen is cheaper, so everybody's making things or buying things in Japan.
Yeah.
So
and the American dollar is more expensive, so oftentimes like factories overseas, they might be in Europe, but they might be getting paid an American dollar, and or even Euro, or whatever it is, if it's in China or wherever. So companies that in Japan that might have been making overseas see the advantage of making things locally again, just because of the currency, and so it has backed up everything. Everything is slow, and it's very difficult to navigate this because we have to make, like, we're just past the midpoint of March. We need spring summer 24 samples done by the end of June. Spring summer 24, and fabric can sometimes take 60, 90 days to just get a sample roll made, sometimes longer, sometimes even long. Like, sometimes it takes that much time just to get the yarn made before you can even get the sample fabric made. And so when we're buying sample rolls, usually we'll ship it by air. Like, there's no point of shipping that by sea because that takes too long. But yeah, like, our development schedule is, let's just develop as many fabrics as we can, and if it's ready for sampling season, we'll use it. If it's not ready, we're going to use it the next season. So we're in a big development mode right now just to try and keep up with all of the delays. So there's a lot that is being worked on, and I don't know when it's going to be ready for what season. There's stuff that's like, all right, we're going to put that into fall winter 24. Like, that's how far we're working in advance right now. So yeah. Kay writes, may I know when the MIJ11s will get released? March 31st. So very, very soon. Very soon.
So the next Friday.
Next Friday, 18-ounce big slub, which we've got right back there.
Yeah. I saw some people asking in the chat about like the next releases or like the spring releases timing. We can't really promise anything other than next week and the week after.
Right.
I guess.
Yeah.
That's how much certainty we have. So
Eight-
this is the 18 ounce.
18 ounce big slub. Veg tan leather patch. There you go. Nice and thick as well. So, but well, obviously it matches the denim quite nicely. This denim was used in the very first Naked and Famous Denim collection.
15 years ago.
15 years ago.
Long time ago.
So
this is almost vintage.
Yeah. This is pulling it out from the vault. I used to have in the showroom a very beautiful faded version of this jean, but it has gone missing. Apparently, we cannot find it anywhere.
Oh.
I do have one photo of it, which I'll post on Instagram, so you can see just how nice it is. But we used to have a warehouse guy who wore the crap out of them, and
how would a faded pair of jeans hanging in the showroom go missing? Is somebody wearing it?
No, I think someone stole it from the New York wall.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So that's how things go missing.
Not always.
Not always,
Sometimes
but
it just go
I'm
missing.
pretty sure that's how that one went missing.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, there was I don't know why they stole the wrong things.
Yeah.
You know,
those are not our merchandise.
Yeah, they're just like grab and run, and it's like, yeah, but that was the good stuff. The stuff that I'm presuming you're gonna want to resell is on the other side of the store. Anyways, I'm not trying to give you tips on how to steal from our store, but here's a pro tip: just don't. You like. Okay, this is not that story. You stole it, and now what? Right? You took a used pair of jeans. Nobody's gonna buy it from you, and the only value that jean ever had was as a display item for us. So you wasted everybody's time here, more so us than anything else.
Yeah.
But I remember when we were opening the New York City store, we were shipping all the merchandise to New York, and we had made these beautiful Boro cloth curtains. Yeah. And we sent so much Boro, like a huge chunk of our Boro collection, to New York. And we were shipping all of the merchandise. So we were talking pallets of merchandise. And out of all the pallets of merchandise, out of all the boxes that we shipped, 2 boxes went missing. 1 box of some jeans, and another box of all of the Boro. And we're like, geez.
This is what putting all of
your
our eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
We should have spread it out.
And I'm like, whoever found this box, and like I don't know if look, sometimes boxes just go missing, right? In shipping, something fell off a truck somewhere, whatever. But whoever's gonna open this box and find out, they're gonna be just a bunch of dusty cloths, and like it has no value to the person who finds it. Like if you find the box of the jeans in it, okay, whatever, I could sell these or wear these or whatever. Yeah. But these dusty old cloths, if you don't know what this is, which I'm presuming most people don't, this is just garbage cloth to them. And it wasn't. It was very valuable.
It was a lot of money in that one box.
And so Cathedral Ring, some homeless guy in New York is flexing hard in his tent city. Maybe. That'd be kind of odd to see. Like beautiful like Boro cloth. I'm like, bro, you should. I'll give you some money for that right now. So yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but Anyways, I'm gonna try and find another pair out there, right? So that we can have some beautiful faded examples to show off in the video. But yeah, 18 ounce big slub, extremely flamey denim. If you're looking for a super high contrast fading fabric, this is going to be it.
It is a good weight. It's
very beefy.
Substantial.
Yeah. When we do the scratch test for this one,
we're going to hear it.
You're going to hear it. You're definitely going to hear that one.
I like that we're collectively all like training our ears to hear sound.
I mean, I'm just using like the microphone that we use is a Blue Yeti mic. I mean, it's a pretty, it's like $160 something bucks mic. It's not a super sensitive or anything like that. So, you know, you see those ASMR videos and they got these like super high sensitivity microphones. They really
picks up.
Picks up. I don't know. I gotta convince Brandon to buy me a.
Just for the scratch test.
Yeah, but Brandon, just for the scratch test, we need to spend a lot of money on this microphone. I want people's like the hair on the back of their neck to spike up when they hear this. We really need to get studio quality scratch tracks made. Yeah, I think it could be fun. I mean,
and we should like compile. Like, we should make a video of all the compilation of the scratch test sound, and it's like. Then we can really hear the difference.
I need someone who really knows about audio.
Right.
You know, if you're an audio engineer out there, I'm gonna put this out there. If you're an audio engineer out there, I'm perfectly happy to send you some samples if you do some scratch test audios for us. And if you can make some proper ASMR, like with a good microphone, and that'd be kind of cool. Cathedral Ring, $20K for a U87 mic. Not gonna spend that much.
20K.
Yeah, when we're at 1 billion subscribers, sure. But we're still not monetized, by the way. Like, I don't monetize our videos, so we don't like even like the. I couldn't even say, hey, we can use the money we get from the videos to like.
Maybe we should.
Yeah, Chris Griffin, having 10K subscribers can't get you studio time. Maybe. I have to look into what the deal is with the YouTube studio here in Japan. But I know that there is one. And I remember when I first discovered it, it was like 10,000 subs would get you access to it. So,
Francisco Michael, billion subs equal face tattoo.
Boom. Oh, yeah, speaking of which, I don't have the face tattoo like we talked about last week because I said by Sunday night, if we don't have like 200 likes on the video on the live stream, so we at like midnight on Sunday night my time, which was like Monday morning my time, it was like 194, 190, like we were just off by a little. And I was on Amazon looking like temporary tattoos. I was looking. I'm like, we're gonna get there. We just missed it. So
too bad.
No face tattoo for me yet, but maybe we'll get there someday. BD fell asleep to scratch test audio once. Fell asleep to all the fade reviews. Sorry if they're not exciting enough. We gotta have some more zippy action.
Yeah.
Yao Ming's friend, ASMR of Risa going into way much detail about raw denim. Also, sometimes she gets mad. Do you get mad?
Do I get mad? I do get mad, but I try not to get mad on
air. Yeah, maybe not. Mike Knight writes, did someone order the Bahzad special?
Yes.
Someone ordered the Bahzad special. Look on Tate Yoko's Instagram Reels. We got a video of it. Get a tragic blonde temporary tattoo made.
Ah, that's a good idea.
Put it on my butt, right where the leather patch would be.
Oh, yeah.
Kazarko, can you spin denim into sounds like an old record? Can you spin denim into sounds like an old record? I don't know what you mean by that. Maybe elaborate. Cathedral Ring, I'm getting the Bahzad special on the MIJ11s just to set the denim community on fire with rage.
That would drive people mad.
It would. Don't spend your money like that, though. Unless you're super ridiculously rich, like so rich that, you know,
this is entertainment money.
Yeah.
Then sure.
But
I mean, we don't want to see it, honestly.
Yeah, I don't want that to go to waste.
Yeah.
I'm going to say don't do it. Even if you're super rich, ridiculously dumb rich, don't even do that. But I get the sentiment. The Raven. I don't think I've ever seen either of you guys mad. I don't think we get mad. Like, we get annoyed. Not so much at each other, but at situations. But, yeah, I'm not a get mad kind of guy. I don't get mad often. I do get mad from time to time.
You get like, I don't know if it's mad.
I go on
you go on rant.
Oh, I go on rant mode. Yeah, but
I guess that's mad. I don't know. It's
proper
emotion.
It's not a common. I definitely get mad from time to time, but it's not.
We certainly don't get mad like while we're recording a video.
No.
There's no reason to.
But I think irritated is a better word for it. I've been mad, but it's rare. Like rant mode, irritated mode, that's just everybody who works can get irritated doing certain things. But like really mad, rare, but it can certainly happen. I mean, I'm a human. Everyone here watching is human, so we've all been there. But
we've all been mad at some point in our lives.
Yeah, we've all been mad.
Yes.
But like face red mad, pretty rare.
Very rare.
Yeah, very rare. Oliver W. Getting mad is too much of a hassle. It's tiring. Yes, I would say so. It's sometimes, like, as with most things in life, sometimes better to walk away from a certain situation. Sometimes you need to set the tone. Sometimes you gotta be like, look, it's not acceptable, and you gotta set a tone, which is, I think, fine, depending on the circumstance. But sometimes
sometimes you don't have a choice. Even if you know you shouldn't be mad, you just get mad.
That's true.
Nothing you can do about it.
There's nothing you can do about it. Mike Knight, can you do a brunette version of the logo? My girlfriend doesn't like blondes. I will say yes. I want to do more versions. Like, we have I want to do more. I want to have like a dozen.
Right. I think what we want to do is not the exact same girl. It's a different girl.
A different girl. Yeah. Different girl, different guy. Dude, yeah. I want to do a robot. An android would be kind of cool. What's that Japanese artist who does the sexy robots?
I don't know the name.
You guys ever seen that before? I'm going to type in sexy robots into Google, and it's going to give me something funny.
It was a cover of Aerosmith's album.
Hajime Sorayama. Yeah, that's his. That's his style. Yeah, I have some trading cards of his. He did there was a whole trading card set of his artwork. But is this going to be safe for work? Yeah, that's perfectly safe for work. So very retro futuristic designs. Japanese artist. He's done sculptures. He's done stuff for like Dior and actually I think his Dior bag is like this thing. It's like ridiculously crazy expensive.
That's cool.
It's
like a movie prop kind of quality.
So very interesting. There it is. Thing's weird, eh? And it's all metal. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's out there. But yeah, I want to do all kinds of leather patches. Let's all of the things can be on there. David A writes, reminds me of a Daft Punk album cover art. Absolutely. Sexy Robots, Yao Ming's friend writes, 2B from Nier Automata. Automata. I played Nier for a little while.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
A game?
Yeah, it's a game. It's like a female robot character, and you like, I don't know. I don't know. I just didn't. I just found it very repetitive. Like go to this area, shoot everything. Go to this area, shoot. I just didn't find that there was much challenge to it personally. If you're a fan of that game, sure. But I probably, I don't know. I might have put in like 10 or something hours into it, and I'm just like, I'm good. I'm good. Andy Jin writes, when will leather patch customization be available through Naked Famous NYC? Eventually. I have to we have to figure out a sewing situation there. Because if you've ever been to the New York City store, there's not a lot of room on the floor So, like, we have to have another sewing machine area set up, which might be a little tight with the current layout of the store. The Raven, you definitely have my vote for a sexy robot. All right. We're going to try and make this happen. Chris Griffin writes, I mentioned artist series. The Mona Lisa would be a good patch. I also think Starry Night patch would be cool. And make it slubby. MC Escher hand with reflecting sphere holofoil would be cool.
I wonder what like
the licensing
royalty,
is.
Yeah,
who owns the Mona Lisa? Somebody owns the likeness to that. Who? How could, like, I think at some point, like, how could you own?
Would somebody own it?
There's somebody like, must. Well, I don't know. I shouldn't presume. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder how that works.
Because like there's a time limit too on those things, right? I don't know. I don't know how any of that works. Francisco Michael. Now I want MC Hammer Pants, parachute guy, Hammerman. You got it. Remember MC Hammer had a cartoon show on Saturday mornings when we were. I did not remember. I wasn't there.
Yeah. Old Spen 85. Do you do an Ultraman patch? Do you guys remember Ultraman? Of course we remember Ultraman is still on here in Japan. The kids.
Do people know about Ultraman in
the
America?
West? They know about it, but they're not. It's not. It's like they know. If you're into anime and things like that, Japanese culture in general, you know about Ultraman, you know about Kamen Rider, you know about Doraemon, you know about Astro Boy. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that there's any like the North American fan base for it has got to be tiny. Like like there's people who know about it and they're like, "Oh, it's cool." Oh, it was never on TV. Mm-hmm. Kamen Rider, I think, came on like in the West. I think there was a show called because they tried to do what they did with like Power Rangers. I think it was a show called Masked Rider, and they tried to westernize Kamen Rider. It didn't work. Like when Power Rangers came out, like a bunch of Japanese shows were starting to come over as like, all right, let's just do what Saban is doing, and Saban even themselves just released a bunch of other shows. But yeah, they just never picked up. Mm-hmm. They never picked up.
Yeah, I don't know. Ultraman seems like it would have worked. Kamen Rider is like, I don't know, it's just a bug. You know, it looks like a bug.
Right. But I think cool. the Power Rangers were too strong.
I see.
It was so like there was nothing moving that, and like you didn't want to watch another show that was like that. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Oh right, Francisco Michael. I watched Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. Yeah, I watched that show also, and
what is it?
It was again another little Power Rangers kind of show, but the monsters were in computers.
Okay.
And
they're samurais?
Well, I don't know why they called it samurai. They just did. Mm-hmm. I think it had the guy from Boy Meets World in it. From the older the later seasons. The man, I don't remember the names. But that's a very obscure show. That's a very obscure. It might have only been on for like one or two, maybe 2 seasons in the West. I remember watching that on YTV in Canada. But that's a very obscure, type of. I don't know what's the would Sentai be the right word for that type of show? Yao Ming's friend, Samurai Cyber Squad was a mix of around 5 different Japanese shows. Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah.
Oh wait, like they took footage from 5 different.
Yeah, it
Japanese
would
shows?
not surprise me. Venomous Teddy. When's the Boy Meets World collection? Topanga Denim. Topanga Lawrence Denim. That's it. Yeah, that would be a hard show to interpret.
You love it, though.
I do enjoy that show. It's a good show. Yeah. Mr. Feeney Denim. C-Dot. Remember Biker Mice from Mars? Absolutely. Biker Mice from Mars, Street Sharks, Samurai Pizza Cats. I mean, there was the Ninja Turtles, so we had to have everything else.
I see.
Yeah, and there was also Toxic Crusaders, which was an adaptation of The Toxic Avenger, which is actually a very funny show, Toxic Crusaders. The toys were very, very good. Actually, the toys for a lot of those series were good. Street Sharks toys were amazing, and the Toxic Crusaders toys were also very, very cool. I just saw a trailer for a Toxic Crusaders beat 'em up, like, you know, 90s style beat 'em up game, in the same vein as like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade or like Turtles in Time. I was very excited for that. Like to see. I like any Toxic Avenger content. I'm very, very happy to see. But yeah, there was also more 80s, 90s cartoon shows. Gargoyles, I think, was another. If you took like the Batman animated series, like the darkness of that, and mixed it with Ninja Turtles, you had Gargoyles. Yeah, that was the Saturday morning lineup. I'm very familiar with it. Food Fighters, those were some good toys as well. Yeah. Good memories wrapped up in all this stuff.
Mr. Feeny Denim, it's so stiff.
That's it. Yao Ming's friend, I still know the Pizza Cat fan club oath. Oh yeah, I remember that there was an oath at the end of the episodes, but I don't remember how it goes. Wild West Cowboys of Moo Mesa. Yes, there were that was maybe as a kid you didn't really understand like how many of these things were just trying to like copy the success of something else. But yeah, as an adult, you look back and like, how many mutant animal shows did we grow up with? Just so many. And like, you know, you have like the Ninja Turtles movie. Okay, now we need to have like all kinds of action. There was a movie called a series of movies called Three Ninjas, and it was like, all right, so now we have the Ninja Turtles. We've got like these kid ninjas. There was surf ninjas. So, anyways, a lot of ninja content also when we were kids.
That's good.
Yeah,
Japanese influence.
Yeah, we got influenced a lot by Japan, certainly in that time. Battletoads, yes. Francisco Michael, my first movie in a theater was Three Ninjas Kick Back. When the Three Ninjas go to Japan. I remember also, I remember watching those movies in the theaters. Anything martial arts related, my mother had we were really into martial arts when we were kids. My uncle's pretty big martial artist. And so we went all kinds of martial arts lessons, like any kind of martial arts movies, no problem. Like there was rated R, didn't matter. It was just like, here you go, kids. It's martial arts in this. It's good. This is a lesson you need to learn. So yeah, Bucky O'Hare and the Toad Wars. Yeah, Captain Bucky O'Hare. LOL, Three Ninjas. 3 strands of rope can never be broken. What were their names? Rock, Colt, and Tum Tum. Rocky or Rock, something like that.
Rock and Colt sounds like a name, but Tum Tum. It's just.
You should watch. It's a very cheesy but fun movie. It's like children beating up adults, a lot of them, and you're like. And as a kid who was into martial arts, you're watching this stuff and you're like, this is amazing. Like kids can do anything. Like, oh man. I think it wasn't until watching like mixed martial arts until you realize that, wait a minute, like martial arts isn't this mystical thing that wins everything. Yeah, MMA really woke up a lot of people into like, okay, you can know karate, but that doesn't mean you know how to fight. Yeah. And
it's in the name. It's an art. It's more like.
Yeah, but that's not what we were sold when we were kids. It was like if you knew kung fu or you were a bad you're a bad person. You were bad. You didn't want to mess with that guy. And then you'd watch early UFC and you'd see people just get wrecked. And I'm like, well, that guy's a black belt and he just got destroyed. You're like, uh-oh, there's something to be learned here. And, yeah.
Like, to me, I had more of, like, when I was really little, I had more of like an idea of like martial arts, certain types of martial art being more like magic. You know, like Harry Potter,
right?
You know?
Like kung fu, like mystical, you know, monkey style. You know, Three Ninjas, The Raven, correct. Three Ninjas is like Home Alone, but with martial arts.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. There's no question about that. It's like if Home Alone and Ninja Turtles had a kid, it would be Three Ninjas. There you go. How about Michael Dudkoff in American Ninja? Yeah, the American Ninja series. In the 80s, there's a lot of straight-to-home video, like, ninja movies. Just a lot of ninja movies. Venomous Teddy, martial arts and pop culture needs to come back. I would agree. Like, also the 90s was a good time for a lot of, like, Hong Kong action films, like martial arts films, and then you had, like, the John Woo, like, you know, shoot 'em up, like, a lot of guns, like, high-octane action movies. Those are also a lot of fun to watch.
They don't make those kinds of movies
or they do, and we don't know about them because like they would get released in Asia, and then they would have like an English dub or whatever, and they would come out. But that has not happened for a long time. Like a Hong Kong shoot 'em up movie. I can't remember when the last what's a modern version of that. I don't know. Jackie Chan, Rumble in the Bronx. Love that movie. Big fan of that movie. Yeah. Okay. You know what? We could go on about 80s and 90s culture probably forever, but that's a different podcast. That's a different show. The Raid, I would agree. I don't think that's a Hong Kong movie though. I think Indonesian, yeah. I have The Raid and the Raid 2. There's I don't think, did they call it Raid 2? Anyways, whatever it was. Okay. Corey writes, Everything Everywhere All at Once is at least somewhat of a martial arts movie, and it won so many Oscars. I have not seen it. I wanted to see it since it came out.
Oh.
Yeah. Michelle
I
Yeoh.
heard the name, but I didn't know it was a martial art movie.
Well, I know Michelle Yeoh from all of her martial arts stuff. I don't know anything about that movie. I wanted to go.
She's the lady who won the Oscar?
Yeah. But like my impression of her is still from Supercop. That's Police Story 3. When she does, if you've never watched any of the Police Stories, Jackie Chan movies,
remind me about
he's hanging off the bus. He jumps down the pole with all the in the mall.
That's the 3.
That's part 1. But part 3, Michelle Yeoh is in it, and she does a stunt. This doesn't ruin any of the movie, by the way, but she does a stunt where she's driving a motorcycle off a ramp onto a moving train. And I saw that as a kid, and I was like, this lady is unbelievable. I cannot believe that somebody did that. It was the craziest stunt I've ever seen. And there's so many great stunts in that movie. Go and watch. I have Police Story 1 and... hold on.
I remember watching 1 and 2. 2 is the one that goes into that, like, the village in the hillside, no?
That's part 3.
Part 3? Oh, okay, then I must have watched 3. Everybody seems to love this movie. Everyone, every something.
Okay,
So we gotta watch it.
Police Story 1 and 2. Go watch these, and then go watch Police Story 3. In the West, it came out as Supercop. In fact, in the West, Police Story 1 and 2 didn't come out in theaters, and they never called Police Story 3. So when Police Story 3 came out in the West, it was just introduced as Supercop. It was never, nobody knew that it was the part 3 of this series. So there was a lot of stuff that might have gone over your head. But yeah, it is the part 3 of this series. This infamous scene from Police Story 1, unbelievable, incredible. Big fan. Just go and look at this. Look at this handsome poster of Jackie Chan here. I gotta put this up somewhere. Look at that. That is
nice.
That is a great poster. It's gotta go over our bed.
Yeah, it's like a police recruitment poster.
I love it. So there you go. That's my That's my movie recommendation for your weekend, everybody. Beverly Hills Ninja is amazing. Best movie ever. Yeah, with Chris Farley. Chris Farley. No. Yeah. Beverly Hills Ninja. Chris Farley. That's it. I was thinking Beverly Hills Cop. I'm like, no, that's a different movie. Okay. Everybody, we're going to leave it there.
We have no snacks today.
No snack time today.
Sorry.
But movie recommendation.
Right.
There you go.
And we all recommended a movie that we should watch. Everything, Everywhere.
Yeah, all at once. We're gonna attempt to do that.
Soon. Maybe not today.
I want to get the 4K Blu-ray. That's what I've really been waiting for, and I haven't bought it. So, yeah.
That seems like it's expensive.
Probably.
Yeah.
But I want it. I need the quality. Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to leave it there, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in, hanging out with us, starting our day, starting our weekend. Have a great evening for many of you, or if you're already into Saturday, have a good rest of your weekend. We'll see you again back here 7 p.m. Eastern Time every Friday night. Don't forget to like this stream before you go. So hit that like button and show us how much you appreciate these videos by tapping that like button. And if you haven't already subscribed, well, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button now. Okay.
All right. Well, it's fun.
Cheers, everyone.
Have a nice weekend.
Have a good weekend. Bye, guys.